Leave a little room for the Holy Ghost.
Hi guys, my name's Barry and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for Night of the Demons 2 from 1994. This is a sequel to the original from 1988. There is going to be spoilers in this video, of course, because it's a really old movie. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch. But if you don't mind spoilers or if you've seen the movie, then continue watching. Angela is the last surviving demon from the first film. I don't know why she was chosen to be the last surviving demon. Where are the rest of the demons? I just don't know. I'm assuming it's because of Amelia Kinkade, who came back to reprise her role as Angela. That's why they chose her to be the main demon, but there is no explanation as to why Angela is the only one to return. Angela has a sister called Mouse.
My name is Melissa.
Melissa, who goes to this church school called St. Rita's, I think it's called, and she comes to her in her dreams, so she already knows about Angela, obviously because it's her sister, but she already knows that something happened at Hull House. At this point in the franchise, the legend of Hull House is that a group of people went there, the people in 1988, they went missing, and now people are too scared to go back to the house. It's got a similar premise to the first one, only this time the teenagers from the school go to Hull House, they bring back Angela, accidentally of course, and then they go back to the school and bring Angela back with them. Even though this film came out 6 years later, it definitely still felt like it had that 1988 feel to it. It had similar vibes to it, similar aesthetic to it as well. They even used some scenes from the first movie in the sequel. I don't know if that's because of budget restraints or just to beef up the runtime of the film, but there were some scenes in like going through the hallways and stuff. That was all from part one. The characters were all fun. I think I got behind all the characters in the film, similar to the first movie. Obviously they're not as memorable as the characters from the first one, but I still had a fun time with them. However, there was this one character called BB, played by Cristi Harris. Now I don't know if you guys do this as well, but when I'm watching a movie during the film, I like to go into IMDb and see what all of them have been in, just in case I've seen them in other movies. And I noticed that Cristi Harris, who played BB, was only 16 at the time she filmed this movie, and she was fully nude, having sex, etc. in the film with fully grown adults, I can imagine. And she was only 16 years old at the time. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is awkward. This is weird. Now, obviously, that wouldn't be allowed today, but I'm just wondering how a film like this can not only pass the cuts, but then continue on for 30 years. And even today, people can still watch this movie and enjoy the movie because it is an enjoyable movie. But when you get to those scenes, you sort of go like that, oh, hold on a minute, she's only 16 years old. Christine Taylor was in this film. I think this was the first biggish movie that she was in. It was quite funny because there was a scene where a character called her Marsha as a joke, and funnily enough, a year later, she becomes Marsha in the Brady Bunch.
Oh, not you, Marsha. It's your problem.
Practical effects were in full flow throughout this entire film. Yes, there was some CGI moments, but the practical effects in this movie were a lot better than the ones in the first film, and I think that's also because of the bigger budget. The film did look a lot better, and the budget definitely helped with that, especially with the practicals. The film also maybe accidentally played a lot of tribute to Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. The way that the camera moved throughout the corridors and things like that was very Evil Dead. The makeup of the demons was also very Evil Dead with the voices as well, and there was a scene in this where there's a lipstick, you know, the scene that goes up this girl's skirt inside of her body. That was also very, very Evil Dead. Surprisingly, Sister Gloria was my favourite character. When I saw her at the beginning of the movie, I thought she was going to be one of these annoying characters that I just wouldn't like at all. But as the movie progressed, she also progressed as a character, and she quickly became my favourite.
Leave a little room for the Holy Ghost. Leave a little room for the Holy Ghost.
Perry as well ended up of a bit of a hero as well. That's the boy from Tremors. He was the geek at the beginning, and I thought he would play a big role in the film, and he actually did, and he became a hero. Even though there was a lot of comedy in this one, I think this one was more comical than the first film. I did jump a few times. There was a few scenes that were intentional jump scenes, and I did jump, but that's quite rare for me today because I'm an adult now. I watch horror films all the time, and I hardly ever jump, even when there's there is these jump scenes like you see in like The Nun and stuff like that, or The Conjuring, whereas in this one there was like 2 or 3 scenes that actually jumped because I just wasn't expecting it. The ending was quite a bit different from the ending to the first film. The first one was very simple. All they had to do was escape Hull House and that was it, end of the story. Whereas in this one, because Angela can go back and forward somehow, they had to really defeat Angela. Even when they were back at Hull House, it felt like it was a little bit more convoluted because they just had to defeat her as well as escape. They had to do that as well. So it was a little bit more convoluted for my liking because the original was so simple, but at the same time, I was still satisfied. After defeating Angela, she came back and she turned into this big serpent. And I remember when I watched it for the first time years ago, I didn't like it because I was quite scared of that scene when I was younger. But watching it now, I knew the scene was coming up. And before it came up, I was saying to myself, this is going to be a CGI monstrosity. But it wasn't. It was, again, all practicals. Credit to whoever was dealing with the practical effects in this film because they were top notch. Apart from that, though, there was just that one CGI bit that was really annoying at the very end when the snake comes out of the lipstick. Overall, though, guys, I really enjoyed Night of the Demons 2. I enjoyed it more now than I did when I first watched it and a few years ago when I watched it again. And I wasn't expecting to enjoy it so much because it was so different to the first film. It had the bigger budget. It had completely different characters, apart from Angela, of course. So I was really surprised that I enjoyed it as much as I did. So what are your thoughts on Night of the Demons 2, guys? Did it live up to the original? Was it not as good as the original? Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.
Meeting adjourned.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!